Hi, I'm Gavin Marsden, bacteriologist for the Suffolk County Water Authority, and today we're going to go over how we perform our drinking water sampling. Suffolk County Water Authority has one of the most advanced laboratories in the country. We test for 400 chemical compounds, which is 251 more than state and federal regulators require. In 2018, we collected 55,000 samples, which were used to perform 167,000 tests. At SCWA, we make sure we're testing your water at 3 key points. The raw water, which is our groundwater pre-treatment coming from our 586 public supply wells. We also test the post-treatment water, which is the water after we've added chlorine to prevent bacterial growth and lime to control the pH. And finally, we collect what we call the distribution water. This is the water that's gone through our network of water main, and it's right before it gets delivered to the customer's house. We have 324 of these sample stations throughout our service territory, which spans all of Suffolk County from Melville to Montauk, 240 of which are tested weekly by our trained field technicians. We make sure each and every one of our sample stations is secure with 2 locks, an external and internal lock, to make sure that nothing gets tampered with while we're not around. Whenever we visit a distribution sampling station, we need to take a pH and chlorine to make sure we're getting representative distribution water. If there's chlorine present in the sample, it'll turn pinkish, and our meter will read how much color change and give us a chlorine residual as well. Most of the samples in our sample set come with the reagents or chemicals needed within the bottle already, but some we're required to add in the field. So what we do, we bring our pipette tip, and our acid, and in the field, we have to treat them. For this particular method, we fill it up, and we're supposed to add sodium bisulfate in the field. It's 2 pumps. Shake it up, make sure it's dissolved, and again, back in our set. The last sample in the set we collect is a bacteriology sample. For the bacteriology sample, you got to make sure you disinfect the tap so that we don't get any external contamination, which would give us a false positive. The way we do that is with chlorine in a bottle. We got to make sure we hit any surface area that might contaminate our sample. So you go on the outside, you make sure you get up in the sample tap, and then we want to make sure we flush the tap to get the chlorine out. Now in the winter time, we don't use chlorine because it's very corrosive, so we'll use a propane torch in the winter. Collect our sample, make sure no contamination. That's our last sample. You can put it in the cooler on ice, and it's ready for transport back to the lab. Now that our sample collection is complete, it's time to get the samples to the lab for testing.